is actually going on in the Phoenix housing market? Should you sell your home? Should you buy a home? Let's break it down so you can decide. Now, the median sales price in Phoenix Metro, it's been hovering around the same number, $440,000, for several months now. But with supply increasing and demand decreasing, and when we actually look at the numbers, we can see that all of Phoenix Metro is softening and getting closer and closer to a buyer's market, which typically means the buyer has the upper hand when negotiating a purchase of a home. So is this bad news for sellers then? And could this finally be the opportunity for first-time home buyers to actually jump in the real estate market? And all these things with supply and demand, a buyer's market, what does it mean for 2024? I am Courtney Strzelczyk, your local Phoenix realtor, here to share all the good, bad, and the ugly of Phoenix Metro. Now, Phoenix is a huge city, and when we look at the whole metropolitan area, we are in what we call a neutral market, meaning we are in neither a buyer's or a seller's market. However, the entire market and all the sub-markets are softening. They're leaning towards more in the direction of a buyer's market. Now, when we look at the individual sub-markets, we do see some areas that are more competitive, more of a seller's market, where some of the areas, particularly more on the peripheral of the metro area, that lean towards more of a buyer's market. So is it necessarily a good time to sell your home if the market overall is softening? So let's look at agent days on market. So these are the number of days from when you actually list your home to when it actually goes under contract. Today, it's around 28 days, and it has been increasing over the past few weeks and months. So keep in mind, this is the median days on market. So that means 50% of homes are actually taking longer to sell, and then 50% of homes are taking less time. In addition, we've also seen an uptick in price cuts. Now, a huge part of these trends, including days on market, listing success rate, price cuts, a lot of this is common to see during this time of year. Things initially start to slow down in the fall, kids are back in school, and particularly around the holidays, you just don't have as many listings, and you also aren't seeing as many buyers out there, further decreasing demand. And we can see this seasonal trend of things slowing down during the holiday season when looking at contract ratio. So this is the number of homes that are actually under contract divided by the number of actual active listings. And this is a really good indicator of what's going on the market currently. And if we look back at the past few years, we can see there was a seasonal dip every year. There was even a slight decrease during the madness of 2021. So are you going to get the best bang for your buck if you sell your home right now? Now, based on historical trends, it probably would make the most sense to wait until after the holidays when things start to pick up again in order to list your home. So that way we have more demand and you have more buyers looking at your home, maybe a little more competition. Now, we can never predict where the market is going, but this is typically the time of year, a couple weeks after the new year, when the market starts to pick up again. However, if you still need to sell your home right now, life happens. Sometimes you do need to sell right away. These are the things I would really consider to get top dollar. You're going to need to make sure that you price correctly. That's going to be imperative. You also want to make sure you don't have a lot of clutter. The house looks clean, move-in ready, so it's more appealing for buyers, because right now buyers do have more options. So if you're buying a home, things are looking much better for you, even with high interest rates. Particularly a first-time home buyer, how can you maximize your buying power in today's market? So one of the main reasons we don't have a lot of demand right now, a lot of buyers out there looking, is because of interest rates. Not surprising, but we saw a glimmer of light this past week, and mortgage rates actually dropped a little bit. So this could be a small window of opportunity for many home buyers right now. Whenever we get to this time of year, I always remember my investor friend telling me this many years ago. He always said, okay, we've entered shopping season. And he always said the best deals he would always find between Halloween and Christmas. And the reason for this is because the sellers that were selling during this time were very motivated. Often they were either relocating out of state, maybe they were getting divorced or had a growing family, and they had an immediate need to move. And on top of that, there weren't as many buyers competing against him, so he just had so much more negotiating power, and as a result, would get incredible deals during this time of year. And in Phoenix, we have seen the number of listings slowly increase since the summertime. So as a home buyer, how do you really take advantage of the market right now and really overcome the biggest hurdle, which is mortgage rates? So we're gonna talk about seller concessions. And if you look at this chart right here, you can see that 42% of homes that have closed have received some sort of seller concession. And if you take a look even closer, if you look at a lot of the homes that sold, between that 250,000 to 500,000 price range, 50 to 60% of those homes had a seller concession, with the average concession being $10K. So what can you do with those concessions? Now, what you can do with that money is have it paid towards your closing costs or other fees. You just can't have it go towards the actual price of the home or your down payment. So if you do have the seller concession actually cover your closing costs, you don't have to bring as much money to the table. However, this is actually what I would use the seller concession for, and that's discount points. So discount points are used to actually lower the mortgage rate, which then in turn lowers your monthly payment. And this can be a significant amount of money monthly. So let's say in this example, you take that $10,000 and use it for a 2-1 buy down, meaning the first year you have your mortgage, your interest rate will actually be 2% lower. So instead of, let's say 7.3, it'll be 5.3. And then the second year, it's just 1% lower. So it would be 6.3. And then the third year, it actually resumes back to the original interest rate of 7.3. And again, in this example, we're gonna say the house is $500,000 and you put 10% down for a down payment. So that means that first year, your monthly payment is going to be $600 less a month. And then the second year, your monthly payment will be around $300 less a month. So in this example, this is gonna save you a lot more money than if you tried to negotiate $10,000 off the sales price. Now, keep in mind the idea behind a 2-1 buy down is by the third year, when your interest rate resumes back to the original amount, that you can actually refinance into a lower rate. However, I always tell my clients, make sure you can still afford that rate at that third year with the full interest rate, just in case in the worst case scenario and you can't refinance, you can still comfortably afford that monthly payment. Now, another strategy for discount points is you can actually buy down the rate for the life of the loan. It's not as much of a monthly savings, but for the life of the loan, it will save you a lot of money. Now, another great strategy too are looking at new builds. Now, a lot of builders, they're trying to get rid of these properties, particularly before the end of the year because they have to meet their quotas. So a lot of them are also offering really low interest rates if you use their affiliated lender. Honestly, I really think this is the best strategy my clients now are currently using in order to get the best bang for their buck. But we honestly don't know how long this strategy will last for and how long these builders are going to continue to offer these incentives. As I mentioned before, for home buyers, we do have a small window of opportunity. We just don't know how long this window of opportunity is going to last. Things are slow now, but we just saw a small drop in interest rates and things could shift pretty quickly. So Barbara Cochran from Shark Tank last summer made a pretty bold statement that went viral, and she was saying, okay, as soon as mortgage rates drop a decent amount, it's going to be a bloodbath out there. Everyone's going to get off the sidelines. They're going to head back into the market. And if demand's super crazy again, we're most likely going to see prices increased and then might even see bidding wars like we saw in 2021 and the beginning of 2022. I often like to think of it as like a rice cooker. So you have all this steam in this pot, all this pent up demand, just waiting for interest rates to come down. And then as soon as interest rates come down, we take the lid off the rice cooker and all the steam comes out. So last week, the CPI report showed that inflation is actually simmering down, and there's a direct ripple effect, right, into mortgage rates. And we saw mortgage rates, they were at 8%, a 2-decade high, and then they actually did drop down a fair amount to about 7.4. And we haven't seen demand increase in Phoenix yet. However, Redfin did have an article that came out, and they actually showed an uptick in mortgage applications after the decrease in the mortgage rate last week. But is this just a teaser, or are we actually going to see mortgage rates continue to drop? Honestly, there's a lot of opinions going both ways. Goldman Sachs came out with an article saying that 2024 wasn't going to look too good for interest rates. It was still going to be pretty high. But then Redfin is suggesting that rates may continue to drop. However, this is really what it comes down to. We can make logical guesses based on historical trends and data, but it's really a crystal ball question. We don't truly know where rates are going to go. But I want to hear your thoughts and predictions, so please share it in the comments. And also, if you are a home buyer and you're curious about the builder incentives going on right now, please watch this video right here. Got some good stuff there. All right, thank you for your time and have a fantastic day.